on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429, has a path to a dignified career. Are you a skilled electrician or lineman? Tired of dead-end, low-paying jobs? Local 429 is accepting applications for highly skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to ibew429.org. IBEW Local 429, the best training and training the best.
What's up, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, owner of Single Tree Barbecue and founder of the podcast Single Tree Nation. Do you want to help us build community? We have some amazing stories of absolutely incredible entrepreneurs and business leaders in the area. Join us every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on ESPN 94.9 The Fan. Can't make it Saturday? Not a problem. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll never miss an episode.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a hot Wednesday in Nashville. I would say warmer than normal at this time of year. Maybe by, I don't know, a week and a half. Maybe the good news is it's going to stay like this for a while, because when we get to the dead of winter, we'll wish we had this. As you can tell, we're not at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. We've been shown the door for a couple of weeks while the Preds have their training camp going on. But let me say this, the folks at the Fordyce Center have been tremendous to us for the last couple of years in allowing us to do the show there. So as you can tell, we're at the homestead, and let's find out what's going on elsewhere. Speaking of homesteads, we go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where former NFL quarterback Kelly Holcomb resides.
What's up, George? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm making it. I told y'all months ago that it's going to stop raining, man, and it has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much has.
Every year.
Point. Yes, that's a good point on your end. So what is going on? What have you been up to?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to stay healthy and strong, George. Just working out and, keeping the body in shape. That's what I've been doing.
Been playing any golf?
I played yesterday. First time I played in a while. I played yesterday. I played pretty good. I kept hitting the ball out of bounds on the front nine, and then I shot even on the back nine, so I still shot in the 70s, so I was good.
Man of leisure. Billy, how about you? Billy is in the homestead, which happens to be mine. What are we doing?
Good. I'm good. Kelly, I got a question. In the fall is when Watson would settle down and stop playing as much golf. What he said didn't he have a cutoff?
Temperature, like 50. He was
temperature cutoffs.
It ain't happening.
It's a little soft to Watson. I thought he would have been a little bit tougher than that. What about you?
I'm like Watson. I'm soft at this age. I've gotten soft, Billy. And once it gets to about in the 40s, man, I'm cutting that off. I ain't playing golf.
I think throw a quarter zip on the fall weather during golf. That's prime when it's too hot.
I mean, nobody's talking about if it's 64. We're talking about if it's in the 40s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can walk the line a little bit of
50s, 50s, 55. That's okay. You start getting below that, I mean, it's a little bit. That's a little bit shady. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you get in a golf cart and have that nice, freshening Zephyr at 28 miles an hour when it's 46. Tell
That's
me
correct.
it's 6.
Zephyr.
If you want to go out and do that, have a nice time. Have a good day.
I might go do that.
Yeah, put that in your fundraising bonnet.
That was a little harsh there, George.
It was intended to be. Let's check in with Terry McCormick for our daily Titans update. Terry, of course, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com. Terry, what is the big news?
Well, Titans had 4 or 5 guys that didn't practice today, at least not in the open part of practice. One of them was L'Jarius Sneed, but it's not the knee. It's a back issue. That's what he's listed on the report with. Also missing 2 of the linemen, Kevin Zeitler, J.C. Latham, and then Tavondre Sweat. I saw him work a little bit on side field, but, did not take part in practice while we were out there.
Okay, if you were going to speculate, and God knows we do that on this show from time to time, of that group, who ends up playing Sunday against the Colts?
I think Sweat has a chance, and I think that, I would think that Sneed would have a chance if he can get on the field by Friday.
I thought he played pretty well last Sunday. What'd you think?
Not bad. I mean, there were a couple of times where, Devontae Adams got away from him, but that's going to happen, especially, as rusty as he was, having not really played much in the last 11 months. But overall, I thought he played really well, especially the first half.
Okay, now I know we're going to do a longer, most of the 3 o'clock hour with you in a little while to sort of do a little bit of a report card of where you think they are right now and where this is headed and what does any of it mean. You got anything else you want to lay out there now? And if not, we'll talk again at 3:20.
All right, let's just save it for 3:20.
Okay, save it for a rainy day, which, according to Kelly, will never happen.
I didn't say never, but I said it's sparse at this time of year.
Yes, scarce.
Yes, sparse,
Okay.
scarce, whatever you want to say, George.
Yeah, who cares? Let's end it. Terry will rejoin us at 3:20, and now we go to the award-winning update.
Yes, the award-winning update is brought to you by Football Night in Nashville. Keeps it rolling this Thursday. It's the Bills and the Dolphins. You can come out and join us. The date still has September 4th on the YouTube podcast stream, so we'll get that changed. But anyway, this Thursday, tomorrow night, Bills Dolphins out at Sports and Social Green Hills. Come out and join us to do the show from 3 to 5, and then stay a little bit for the game. Again, Bills and Dolphins out at Sports and Social.
And when you're out there, register to win that beautiful golf cart from the folks at Mikey's Motors. That thing has a price tag of $15,100, and somebody on December the 18th is going to have a very Merry Christmas.
I might just register to win that and take it out and feel that Zephyr and 30, 40 degree, play some golf.
Yeah, you're not eligible until you become a fundraiser.
You're going there again.
Well, I'm just saying, at the moment, you are not eligible.
Okay.
Come Monday,
I will.
I'm
going to put a bunch of applications in there.
As what's his name, the great singer, and all of a sudden I can't think of him. Come Monday, it'll be all right.
Okay, there we go. We got some news out of Knoxville, Tennessee. If you haven't heard, had a lot of issues on Saturday getting fans into the stadium. They had issues the prior Saturday as well against ETSU. Fans were packed together and delayed from entering the stadium before the last 2 games. They were directed to entry gates they weren't accustomed to entering, but new security checkpoints have been added to alleviate congestion. A new pregame marching path for the Pride of the Southland band confused fans looking for the usual access points to Neyland Stadium. And Adam Sparks did a really good story out there detailing everything that happened and the changes that are going on, courtesy of Danny White. He did issue an apology on social media to fans for an unacceptable game day plan that missed the mark. So new game day plan. If you're going Saturday against UAB, that's an 11:45 a.m. Central Time, of course, 12:45 Eastern kickoff. Fans should see improvement.
And the other thing, they're probably not as just burning desire to get in the stadium with old UAB in town. Doesn't have quite the fervor of Georgia.
No, it doesn't.
Thank you.
I was checking out Tony's show from earlier today, and he actually had Adam Sparks on.
Mm-hmm.
And, Adam was bringing up the fact that there are more, what's it called? There's more hospitality suites and things like that, premium seating options. Sure. And that has taken away some of the normal gates, entry points into the stadium. So I think that's what Tennessee fans are annoyed with old Danny White.
So the hoity-toity get into a nice area, and the rest just basically like packed like sardines.
Yeah, they just thumb their nose at everybody.
It's a new entry pattern. Let's go. Get used to it.
Hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity. Where'd you come up with that, George?
Oh, that's the
hotty
phrase.
toddy.
No, that's the phrase of the day. Isn't hoity-toity kind of like the proletariat or whatever?
Kelly doesn't get any reference.
No.
I'm not listening to y'all right now because y'all are just talking. I've moved on. Okay.
We've got some new Heisman favorites. John Mateer at Oklahoma and Carson Beck at Miami are the two leaders in the clubhouse. Mateer is showing plus 850 odds. At some other shops, though, Carson Beck is the favorite, getting as short as plus 700 at BetMGM. Either way, it's the longest odds for a Heisman favorite at this point in the season since 2012. The previous longest favorite was Leonard Fournette at plus 500. Heading into week 4, of course, Arch Manning's odds have fallen dramatically.
Has a Vanderbilt Commodore ever come close to winning the Heisman? And I'm thinking of Bill Wade as the most likely answer.
Eric Jones, who was on the cover of the magazine preseason that the headline read Heisman. It was something about the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, well, it didn't happen.
Well, maybe he was preseason the closest. I mean, Diego Pavia, if he keeps playing like this and they keep winning,
I'll say this: he put them in the college football playoff. He'd probably get invited. What do you think, Kelly?
I think he deserves to be there. There's no doubt.
Probably get a Nobel Peace Prize out of the deal.
And a statue.
George, you're on something today, man. What did you have? Did you drink some Mountain Dew, Podge? What are we doing? You high off Mountain Dew?
No, I had some fruit earlier. I had an apple.
Oh, is that right? So you're feeling a little sugary right now. You're ready to go.
You think that's what did it?
I don't know, man. You're a little you're hyped up today.
So are you.
We'll see about South Carolina, how hyped up they are. Lenora Sellers, his status is up in the air. There's optimism around his status for the game at Missouri on Saturday. He's been in practice, and there's positive signs for his availability, according to Pete Thamel. So, but the official injury report.
Billy, I don't understand that. Like, it didn't look like the Langston Patterson kid hit him hard at all. What are we doing? Like, this dude is isn't he like 6'5", 240 or 250, Lenore Sellers?
Yeah.
I mean, he's bigger than Langston Patterson.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me how it looked like Sellers was already hurt. He had to have been banged up before that hit, and because I'm with you, Kelly, that did not look that bad.
No. It didn't look like it needed to be a penalty either.
No, that's another thing. I actually asked Clark Lee about that. I'm not giving Clark room to, crap on the refs, but he did. Like, I asked, how do you coach that after? Like, what do you tell a player to do after that? So he had an interesting answer.
I think it's more, what do you tell the ref?
Well, at that,
I know what I would have told the ref.
One of the funniest ones I ever saw was C.M. Newton with Ben Dunn. And remember, the year before, Coach Newton had been their boss as the supervisor of officials in the SEC. So he was complaining to Ben that, look, you missed a 10 count. And Ben Dunn, and I had taken my headset where I could put one ear where I could hear it, because I knew something pretty funny was going on. And Ben Dunn says, I only counted to 9. And Coach Newton used one of his favorite words to tell Ben, you're not a very good counter. That's one of the fun things. One of the advantages when you do a basketball game of being at courtside is you hear stuff that you wouldn't believe. It happens. Oh, it happens.
Yeah. We've also got some National Football Foundation news. A couple of board members on this show, at least of the Middle Tennessee chapter?
Middle Tennessee chapter.
So they have a Distinguished American Award. I'm not sure if you guys knew that, but the Army-Navy game will be honored with this year's Distinguished American Award. It recognizes an outstanding person or entity who has maintained a lifetime of interest in the game and over a long period of time has exhibited enviable leadership qualities and made a significant contribution to the betterment of amateur football in the United States. The official recognition is December 9th in Vegas at the Bellagio Resort and Casino.
Yes, I've been there. Kelly, I would like to nominate for next year General Dorsey. He's a distinguished American.
I agree. I think you should bring that up at the next board meeting, George.
Well,
you bring up a lot, though. You bring up a lot, though. Sometimes you get to talking too much, and I'm ready to go home.
Thank you.
Shocker.
Who is it that's wound up?
You.
We've also got some NFL news. Chargers linebacker Khalil Mack's elbow injury is not season-ending.
Good.
So good news for Tom Brady's Raiders. Justin Fields, though, has been ruled out against the Buccaneers as the Jets will now turn to old Tyrod Taylor. Fields recovering from a concussion. He got thrown to the ground basically by Joey Bosa on Sunday. So
old Tyrod being nominated by the Middle Tennessee chapter for the Kelly Holcomb Award, which has just been established for the quarterback who plays for the most different teams.
He's got me beat, George.
Yeah,
you can sit on that one.
He's happy to league. I don't think any
Tyrod Taylor has played for every team in North America.
I don't think
I did not play with every team. I did not play with every team, although I played with a couple. I could have stayed, but I decided to go. So we don't need to hear that from the cheap seats of the peanut gallery. You need to pipe down up there.
I don't think anybody has played more games than Josh Johnson, though.
No, he's
been on every, and I think he might have been on
12.
No,
12
it's more than,
teams.
I think it's more than that.
Look it up during the break.
Okay.
Are we done?
We are.
Thank God. Okay. After the break, Terry McCormick will rejoin us as the fun continues here on the show. Hey, to the group in Clarksville, I'm not normally this big a smart aleck. I don't know. Just today seems like one of those days, but we are thrilled to have the Clarksville audience joining us this week on 540 on the AM dial and 104.1 on FM. We'll go to the break. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. We welcome all of you back on this beautiful and kind of hot Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's say hello once again to Terry McCormick, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. Terry, you there?
I guess we don't have Terry yet. We'll get him shortly.
Is this your fault, Billy?
It is not my fault.
It is not your fault because that's running out. I mean, I understand that. So I'm only going to be able to give you grief just a little bit more. So the next 2 days, you're probably going to get it.
Well, I'll look forward to that.
I know you will.
So obviously, we're going to get into in just a minute where we think the Titans are as opposed to a year ago. So Kelly, I'll kind of throw it at you first. Where do you think they are?
They make too many mistakes right now, George. You can't have the kind of penalties. You're already not a very good football team, and when you help the other team by making penalties, and it's just like the punt return the other day that they had called back. You just can't. I don't think that was a crazy hit, but you can't do that. That's in the rules of the game. You have to know the rules of the game, and they're trying to cut down on stuff like that. So you just can't do things like that in order to win football games. And the good teams that win, they don't hurt themselves. And just right now, with the holding penalties, with the defensive stuff going on, it's just you just can't make those mistakes and win games in the National Football League, George.
So I'm told Terry is ready with us. Terry, you may have heard the question that I posed to Kelly, which is, okay, 2 games into the season, what do you think about them in comparison maybe to a year ago?
Well, I think in some areas they are better, but I think overall they may be worse, as crazy as that sounds to say. I mean, I think last year when you looked at the early sample size of the season, the first 2 to 3 games, would we not have laid a good portion, if not the vast majority of the blame on the turnovers, and specifically on the turnovers that were made by Will Levis? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This year, Cam Ward is pretty much taking care of the ball. Now, he's not done very much that's been dynamic in terms of playmaking and pushing the ball down the field with any success, but he has not thrown an interception. He's lost 2 fumbles. One of those was at the very end of the game against Denver on a 4th down desperation play, so I'm not really going to pin that one on him. So really, one legitimate turnover that Cam Ward has had at the quarterback position. So from that standpoint, it's been better. But yet the offense is averaging less yards per attempt in passes. They've got 4 more sacks, and those sacks have been really punitive. Plus, they lead the league in penalties. Last year, I'm going to give you some numbers here because I've done a little homework here. Last year, they were sacked 52 times. That was Will Levis and Mason Rudolph combined over the whole season. And that resulted in 304 lost yards. Divided by 17 games, that's roughly 18 yards per game of lost yardage in sacks. And that's per sack, 5.85 yards per loss. So that ranked apparently 10th in the league. This year, it ranks first, or is in the worst in the league, because they've been sacked 11 times for 82 yards lost already. That's 7.45 yards per sack and a whopping 41 yards lost per game in the sacks. Now, granted, that's a small sample size, and it's against 2 really good defenses, better than what you faced last year in the Bears and the Jets. But, those types of numbers can't continue if you want to win football games and if you want to keep your quarterback in one piece.
Terry, we're going to hopscotch around a little bit in this. To me, the single biggest positive is that in the early going, through 2 regular season games, they have completely fixed the special teams problem, which was an absolute joke a year ago.
Yeah, because John Fossil is one of the best special teams coaches in the NFL, and you can see immediate dividends from what he's done since taking over that unit from Colt Anderson, who was a first-time special teams coordinator last year, and even the way it was under Craig Aukerman and some of the other people that were before him. The special teams unit has been a liability really for this team ever since Alan Lowry left, and now John Fossil has come in and in 2 weeks has immediately fixed the vast majority of the issues.
What do you think he's done that's fixed it? Because it's almost snap of a finger different.
Well, I talked to some players about it, talked to him about it, talked to Callahan about it, and wrote a story on it. And a lot of it is he's simplified things. He's like, go win your matchup and simplified the techniques, simplified the assignments. I was told that they don't have a lot of plays in the special teams playbook. There's not a lot of, of these elaborate schemes that they're trying to draw up like they had before. It's just simple. Go win your matchup and play football. And that's the best way I can put it from what I was told.
Yeah, well, kudos to him, because that's been, to me, the single biggest positive in the whole deal. Terry, I think the under alarming is the complete uselessness in the wide receiver world. You got a guy that you're saying is your number 1 receiver in Calvin Ridley, and 2 games in, it looks to me like Cam Ward said, you don't ever catch the ball, so to hell with you.
Well, he targeted him earlier on Sunday, and he made a couple of plays for him. But yeah, there are long stretches where they're not getting the production they need out of Calvin Ridley. And, that's got to change. If this team is going to have explosive plays, he's the guy that's going to have to give it to them some. I think, when you look at the other receivers, I think Chimere Dike can probably do some of that, but that may be down the line. But I think, right now, if you're looking for somebody to give you an explosive play in the pass game, it's got to be Calvin Ridley. And that's another thing that's down. They're averaging 4.7 yards per attempt, which is also last in the league. Last year, through the first 2 games, they averaged 5.3 yards per attempt. They have had 4 plays of 20 yards or better so far in 2 games. Last year at this time, I think it was 6 that they had.
And if we're being honest, in the Rams game, the only thing that worked was play fake right, roll left, and to be honest, it resulted in some wide open receivers.
Sure, yeah, and I think you have to, it's one of those things where, it's kind of like in baseball when you see that a guy is late on your fastball, you don't change it. You don't throw him a changeup or a curve. The speed is bad up. You keep throwing him the fastball until he shows you he can stop it. I would say stick with some of that. Stick with those play action plays. Stick with that. Those bootlegs to the other side where you can throw it out into into an open space and a guy can be on the backside of the play and make something out of it like those plays did. But they did it twice and then really kind of got away from it.
So, Terry, you brought up earlier the penalties. And in truth, this penalty situation goes back to the Vrabel era toward the end of it, correct?
It does. It does. And there was somebody, and I can't remember who it was, that kind of analyzed this. And the truth of the matter, and I don't know, maybe Kelly wants to chime in on this and say yay or nay, but when you don't have as good of players as the other team, that's when the grabbing and the reaching and the holding and those sorts of things start, because you're trying to hang on for dear life against a guy who's a superior athlete or a more savvy athlete than you are. And that's when a lot of these penalties occur. And I think that's been a situation that's been going on, for the last, like you said, 3 or 4 years.
That's George. That's absolutely right. I'm sitting here thinking about that, and sometimes you're just not physically able to block the guy in front of you, or that's where you get a lot of stuff happening. I mean, everybody talks about, they want a new form of tackling. Well, they had this, this hawk tackling, Seahawks tackling. When Pete Carroll was there, they talked about, grabbing and pulling them down that way. Well, you got to be a good athlete. You got to be able to run. Well, sometimes athletically you're just not there, and I think that's what comes about with a lot of that's going on is guys just getting beat. They're not physically as good as the guy across from them, and in order for keeping Cam Ward getting killed, you just got to grab guys, and that's unfortunate, but that's where they're at right now.
So Terry, is this becoming a situation because when you have 13 penalties in the first game, you got 10 in the second. Is this a deal where Borgonzi has got to call Brian Callahan in and say, listen, I grant you that at the moment, your roster is not as good as most of the rest of the league. However, if you think I'm going to tolerate double-digit penalties week in and week out, if it continues, you're going to be gone.
Well, I mean, I don't know that conversation has been had. I know that the coaches are emphasizing, technique and making sure that guys don't put themselves in bad positions to, get those types of penalties. Now, here's the thing. There's really 2 different types of penalties. You can live with the occasional pass interference or defensive holding or offensive holding or illegal motion. You can live with those types of things because they happen in the course of the game. What you can't live with are the false starts, the dead ball personal fouls, the things that, you can control just by not doing it and by being more disciplined. And I think that's what they've got to cut out. If they would cut those types of things out, then I think you would see the penalty numbers and the penalty yardage dip probably by a third at least. And, if you can get through a game with 6 penalties instead of 10 penalties because you're not false starting and you're not, taking a cheap shot at somebody or hitting somebody out of bounds, then you can cut into a lot of the problems that you have. The other things are going to happen in the course of a football game. Very rarely does a team get through a game, with less than 5 to 6 penalties. But you can stop a lot of that.
I think you have, in that sentence or that phrase, however you want to paragraph, whatever, I think you've hit the nail on the head of what's realistic. Every team in the league gets penalties, but it's the stupid crap where you start the game, your home opener, You're trying to create some excitement. And in 3 of the first 4 plays that you have the ball, you got people jumping off sides. I mean, it just creates what the hell are we doing?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And that's a home game. You're false starting. It's understandable sometimes for a tackle to false start on the road. You know, if that had happened at Denver in week 1, nobody would have thought anything about it because it's one of those things that happens. You know, when there are 70,000 people screaming at the top of your lungs, while the opposing offense is out there. But when you're in your home stadium, there's very little excuse for false starts and things like that.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that. And when we come back, Kelly Holcomb, Billy Derrick, they'll take over with Terry McCormick as we discuss where this team really is 2 games in. It's early, but nonetheless, there are things emerging that are either good or concerning. And what does it mean in the big picture? This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join mnpd.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
PastorGeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
Your 2 total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are talking Titan football on this Wednesday afternoon. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com along for the ride home. Kelly, what do you got for him?
Terry, so we've talked a lot about mistakes, and I guess this is a kind of a comment about what y'all were talking about. But when you can't stay in front of the chains, and when you're making, because some of the big plays the other day, and I can remember when I was in Indianapolis with Tom Moore and Bruce Arians, we always used play action. We would always get people on play action. But when you get behind the chains and you're 1st and 15 or you're 2nd and 20 now you can't use the play action because it's kind of null and void. And I think that's kind of what the Titans are falling into, because the other day they had some big plays to Calvin Ridley when he did catch the ball, when Cam Ward was able to get out of the pocket, but you had that threat of run with sticking it into Tony Pollard's stomach and then pulling it out, but they were ahead of the chains. And then, when you get these penalties, that's kind of what's killing the Tennessee Titans right now.
Also, when you get one-dimensional like that, that's when the sacks come, because, it's hard enough for their starting 5 offensive line to be out there and protect. This is a unit that was just cobbled together this year, most of it. But then when you start putting backups in, that makes the situation even worse, because you've got a guy who's not normally a starter or 2 out there. And though you have to figure out ways to help those guys, figure out ways to neutralize the pass rush. And it's just difficult, especially when you're constantly, like you said, in 1st and 15, 2nd and 12, because the run game basically goes out the window at that point.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And George, when you use play action, you're able to do things to the defense and make those guys move. Instead, when it's a total passing situation, they're going to drop in their zones or they're going to play man to man. It's just such a huge part of your offense that they can't do right now because they're making so many mistakes. So, Terry, you guys talked about Calvin Ridley a little bit, and you've got a guy that's been around for a long time, but he's making these mistakes right now, and he's really giving. Like y'all talked about, he's really giving your team. He's not giving you much, and you expected so much more. And I know the guy's getting in slumps, but is it a situation where you think that you talked about DK and Ayuman he's kind of come along? Do you put Van Jefferson back in the rotation? Is it a deal where, if he keeps playing like this, are they going to have to say, hey, man, you're not doing it? You're going to have to, do they sit Calvin Ridley down and let some of these other guys go in and see if they can do anything better?
Maybe for a play or two, Kelly, but to be honest with you, right now, Calvin Ridley is their best threat for a home run ball, He was inconsistent at times last year. But, toward the middle and end of the season, he started to find his stride and started to, make some plays for this team and got over 1,000 yards. So I think, as much as you would like to do that, you got to have somebody else that you trust and somebody else that can give you that big play potential the same way Calvin could if you want to have the threat of a big play. Because, let's be honest right now, they don't have a lot of guys that are going to win a go route one-on-one besides Calvin, I don't think.
7 catches, 84 yards in the first 2 games. A little better than I thought it was.
Well, I mean, but still, if he would caught all his balls, I mean, he would probably had 10 or 11 or 12, to go with that. So
Kelly, on that note, receivers and Terry, I do have a couple questions for you, and maybe you can chime in on this, but do you think Ridley being in this receiver room, which George has said is the worst in the league, and a lot of other people agree with that, do you think that could seep into Ridley's mind, and when you're not around really good receivers, you almost play down to their level, or am I being stupid?
No, I don't think that's a bad comment at all. I think I'd put it this way. Calvin Ridley is really a number 2 receiver, I think. I don't know that he's not on the level of your Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown type of guys. He's just not. But he is a very good receiver. He's best suited to be a number 2, most likely. I'll put it in Kelly's vernacular. When Marvin Harrison was in his prime, Reggie Wayne got to develop as a number 2 receiver because Marvin Harrison attracted a lot of the attention. Reggie Wayne, that after Marvin Harrison was gone, developed into a number 1 receiver. Calvin is really a number 2 receiver, and I don't know that, he was around Julio Jones in Atlanta, but that was a long time ago. But I don't know that he's a true number one type receiver that this team has lacked since they traded A.J. Brown. And therefore, but he's the best they've got. So everything falls on his lap to be the big playmaker.
So Terry, everybody had this big assumption, and he hasn't forgotten how to coach. There's no question about that. He's a really good coach. But talk a little bit about Bill Callahan and what people think about what he's done with the O-line, because I've said it on here. They haven't had a whole line since Zach Pillar and Brad Hopkins, all those guys back in the day, Bruce Matthews. They haven't had guys like that to be staples on that line, and everybody was expecting so much out of Bill Callahan. Now sometimes you can only work with what you've got, and I understand that. But what do people think? What do they think? What are their opinions? What is your opinion about how Bill Callahan and the job that he's done so far with the O-line?
Well, I mean, I think it's probably been not exactly what Titans fans thought they were getting when he came and took the job. I think Titans fans here for a long time, and you mentioned, the Hopkins, Pillar, and all those guys, they were expecting another Mike Munchak. I don't think he's been to that level. The last really good offensive line that I would say the Titans had was, in the Mike Mularkey and early Vrabel years, when they had Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, Jack Conklin for a little while, and then that was probably the best line that they'd had since those glory days of the early 2000s. But I think, there is some truth in you can only work with what you can work with. And, I got to start putting some of this on the scouting department. We don't talk about the scouts. A lot of these failed draft picks, maybe the coaches didn't develop them, but some of it, maybe some of these guys were not as good of players as they were evaluated to be. And I think that that's one of the areas where you kind of have to, start questioning some things and say, hey, is this guy as good as we thought he was coming out? Because you can't win the Kentucky Derby on a mule.
So my last question here, and I'll turn it over to Billy. But I've asked you this before. But what are your thoughts on Brian Callahan? Does he make it past this year, man? Because I'm starting to wonder. Like the other day, somebody had like a little snide remark in the presser after the game, and he's like, I know you guys are trying to win a game. Do y'all think y'all will win a game this year? And that's like, I can't believe somebody asked a head coach that kind of question. But like it seems, I don't know, man. I think he's a good person. I think he's a good guy, but sometimes good guys don't win. And I'm not sure that he's not over his head. I just feel like sometimes, like I felt it last year. I hadn't seen it this year as much as I did last year, but sometimes it just feels like, man, he's over his head a little bit. And I don't know if he knows what to do right now because they're not a very good football team. And it's all an effort by the whole organization. You got to draft good. They hadn't had good drafts. But is he going to make it through this to get another season, do you think?
Well, that's a good question, Kelly, and I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that right now because you've got a team that's performing poorly and you've got a roster that's not very good. You've got a head coach that at least the fans don't seem to have a lot of confidence in, and you wonder, you've got an impulsive owner who keeps making changes. So I think what you get into with this whole thing is it's just an organizational failure all the way around. And, and he may end up paying the price for that. I mean, do I think he's done a great job coaching this team? No, I can't say that, but he's been dealt a pretty bad hand to start off with. And I think, what I would say in that is one of the places I think that they probably didn't think through when they did this hiring of Brian Callahan and his staff. Yes, he brought his dad in, who is a former NFL head coach. But I think, he had a first-time defensive coordinator, a first-time special teams coach. He was a first-time play caller and head coach, and the offensive coordinator was a first-time OC at the NFL level. When you have that much new, that's asking a lot of people to get it right. I think at least one of those people that they brought in, and now they have that with John Fossil on special teams, and you see the results. I think at least one of the guys who was leading one of the units, probably it would have been wiser to have had somebody that had a track record of success. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand. I think that's the worst thing that can happen right now with this football team because there's no continuity. But I just don't know if that hire was the right hire, and time will tell. Because I'm for everybody. I mean, I know how hard it is to win a game, but I'm just not sure. And I think that turning the organization over again and getting a new coaching staff is not what they need. But I'm not sure that it's not what they need. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And you do have an impulsive owner, but I'm just like right now, it's amazing that 3 or 4 years ago they were in they had the best record in the AFC, and now what they've come to, it's kind of crazy, Terry.
Well,
It really is.
Let's say this: it's trending, and that's all it is at the moment. It's trending that he will never see the new dome stadium.
Yeah,
well,
it's trending. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's sure the way it looks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, like I said before, it's organizational failure. And the one thing, though, that, the one thing in this that I think you have to still consider is this. You have a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. You're teaching him this style of offense. And the last thing you really want to do is pull the rug out from under him and make him learn a new system in his second or third year, send him back to square one in a lot of ways and say, okay, you've done it this way. Now we're going to do it that way. Because when you bring in the new coach and you've got a young quarterback and he's already had to learn one system, well, we've seen how that's worked out before, because at some point that coach, if that quarterback just is excellent right out of the gate and fits exactly what the new coach wants to do, then all of a sudden that coach goes, I got to have my guy. This guy is not the fit for what I want to do. And then you're right back on the same slope. You're right back on the same slippery slope that got Jake Locker, that got Marcus Mariota, and got Will Levis.
Yep.
Terry, I know Cam spoke today. What did he have to say? And how has he changed in your mind watching him through the beginning part of this season and even in his preseason games, to now?
Well, I mean, I think he's still the same guy. They haven't broken him yet, so that's good. He still has the same calm demeanor. He's still very, very football centric, and, knows exactly what he needs to do in order to try and make this thing better. I think, I asked him, first thing, I said, what can you do to help the offensive line and cut down on the sacks? He said, I've got to go through my progressions faster. Now, that's what a quarterback is supposed to say. Some of the time there probably wasn't time enough to even think about doing that. But anyway, he said there were guys on the back sides of the route, if I can make it go through faster and make it to my second or third read. So he understands the situation that he's in. He understands, that I think, without saying it, I think he understands that there's a reason you're number one, you're going to the worst team in the league, and there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be problems, but, it'll be interesting to see, if he can still keep a calm head about him and still stay calm, cool, and collected if things don't start to trend in a better direction.
Terry, in my opinion, it's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel, and not just this year, but moving forward, the next few years. Now we'll see about Cam and, who's going to be the coach, and a lot of things have to come into place. They got to accumulate more talent. But my question is, you've covered the team since 1997. Have you seen the Titans this low in terms of light at the end of the tunnel and talent-wise in your time?
Yes, 2014, 2015 under Ken Wisenhunt was worse.
Okay.
It was worse. And, this era it's close to that. And it seems to be, it doesn't really seem to be, improving by leaps and bounds. But really what it takes, Billy, is a couple of good drafts, 2 or 3 really good free agent signings to fill holes where you can't in the draft, and then coaching those players up, developing those players, and getting them all going in the same direction and creating a new locker room culture. That's really, people can be critical of Mike Mularkey and how he did certain things around here, but the biggest thing that Mike Mularkey did in his time as coach here, he reestablished a culture, and this team learned how to compete again.
Terry, give me a 30-second answer. You said it has not gotten better by leaps and bounds. Is it any better?
Well, I mean, there are some things that are better. We talked about it. We led off talking about how the special teams unit has improved. We talked about, how Cam Ward has at least stabilized the quarterback position in terms of turnovers thus far. That's been something that's been way down compared to the early going of the season last year. I think what you now need to see is for him to have time to throw and be in situations where he can make some, get some completions and make some explosive plays, things like that in this offense, and other guys start to step up and help him. I think, those are all things that are just going to happen. It probably won't happen all the time, but even if it just happens 2 or 3 times a game, enough to give people some hope and enough to give people an indication that it's going in the right direction, I think that's what you're looking at right now.
Terry, appreciate it as always. Good stuff.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com, giving us his views on where they are, I guess, 1/8 of the season. Well, a little less than that now that you got 17 games. Let's just go with fractions. Early in the season. After the break, we'll have Stat of the Day. Then you'll hear Billy Derrick's interview with Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee. We will open the phones around 4:25, give or take a minute or two. So get ready. This is the George Plaster Show.
When you're all in for game day, Electronic Express has you covered with the largest selection of in-stock TVs from all the best brands like LG, Samsung, Sony, and Vizio. Right now, get a 65-inch Samsung Ultra High Definition TV for just $399. A 98-inch TCL QLED TV for only $14.99, or the 75-inch Google Smart TV for just $349. Shopping local has its perks too, like free delivery and up to 24 months interest-free financing. Visit us in-store or at electronicexpress.com. We've got that.
The wait is over. The largest sports book in Kentucky is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Feel the rush of every play in a venue built for sports fans. Catch all your favorite games with an 80-foot screen, stadium-style seating, and live daily broadcasts from VSiN, the sports betting network. Plus, download the Circa Sports Kentucky mobile app today and start betting like a pro anywhere in Kentucky. The largest sports book in Kentucky, Circa Sports, is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Spice up your week with Nashville's best deal at Macero in 12 South. From sizzling Tex-Mex favorites to refreshing margaritas, Macero is the perfect spot for dinner with friends or date night. And right now you can grab half off a $50 gift card, just $25 while supplies last. That's a fiesta for your taste buds at half the price. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Get your gift card to Macero in 12 South now at 949thefan.com/deals. Macero, it just hits different.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
Brought to you by Window Nation. Get 2 free windows when you buy 2 at windownation.com.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bovis. On our way to the low 90s once again. This time around, not expecting pop-up showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Just a partly cloudy day.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. This fall, country music superstar Tim McGraw is hitting the stage live at the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards.
For Trinetics, Rock the Cradle.
And it's all for a great cause. It's going to be an unforgettable night of music, fun, and giving back, with proceeds supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown.
And I like it, I love it, I want some more.
Don't miss it. Grab your tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
But I like it, I love it, I want some more.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
We got Clark Lee coming up. Vanderbilt's got Georgia State Saturday night. We'll talk a little bit about that, recap their South Carolina win from last Saturday. But first stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, Shohei Ohtani is first and second on the most home runs by a Dodger in a season. Who is third?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Is first and second on the most home runs by a Dodger in a season? Who is third? Okay, Kelly, we could go way back with Steve Garvey, Reggie Smith.
I say Steve Garvey. That's who I thought.
Show us Steve Garvey.
It is Sean Green.
Sean Green had this monster year. Sean Green had a 4-homer game, I think, against the Dodger. As a Dodger. And I don't really remember his career after he left L.A. If I remember correctly, wasn't nearly as successful. But boy, in a stadium that is really hard to get a ball out of at night because of what they call the marine layer. That's a pretty amazing thing. So Ohtani hit number 50 last night. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And he had a 5-inning no-hitter, and their bullpen, which has been a sieve all year long, imploded. I'll tell you this, when they get to the playoffs, everybody assumes that all of the money that the Dodgers spent is a guarantee they're going to win. And they might. Boy, I'll tell you what, some of their pitching is pretty bad. With all the injuries they've had, they have had to use people at times that are not ready on the big league level.
Starting to catch up.
A little bit.
Ohtani has posted back-to-back 50 home run seasons now. He's just the 6th MLB player to do that.
Wow.
George, you think he's we've talked to Danny. Do you think he's trending to be the best player, one of the best players ever, like the best player ever, or one of the best players ever?
Yeah, I mean, he's really close to that. In that group of greatest players ever, I mean, he's sure headed in that direction. He and Aaron Judge, with the Yankees, are two right off the bat you think of in this era that are doing it, putting up monster numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, we are officially into the 4:00 hour. Normally, we do our show from our digs at the Ford Ice Center out in Bellevue. However, the Predators are using that facility for the next couple of weeks for training camp, so we are at the homestead, so to speak. Earlier today, Billy caught up with Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee as he gets ready for Georgia State, following just an absolute blowout in South Carolina that not many people saw coming. Here is that interview. And yes, thank you, Billy.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. The weekly Clark Lee interview is presented by the folks at Pancoast Benefits, and my guess is they appreciate the fact that Billy sort of stopped me in midstream there. Now, here is that interview.
Coach, I want to start with last weekend in Blacksburg. Obviously, down 20-10 at the half. What wrong file? Oh, that's a C note. That's on.
Really? So
I thought I had downloaded it. That is, wow, that's on me.
Okay, so Kelly, this is maybe your last shot.
Kelly is not on screen right now, but wow, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so time only being called.
Yeah, we'll
you need a little fill on my end.
Maybe a little bit. That's the biggest C note of all time.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm just glad I caught that because that would not have been good.
Let's see. One of the things that will be interesting to see on Saturday is what does the crowd look like? It should be a tight sellout. God knows this team has earned that. But one of the themes that's gone on for years now has been, what is Vandy's fan base? And I guess I would say, if you can't sell out now with your fans, because Georgia State's not going to bring a ton, then when would you? If not now, when? Now here's the interview.
Coach, I want to start with last weekend against South Carolina there in Columbia. Obviously, the Bobby Johnson aspect of this is really interesting, I think, to Vanderbilt fans, old and young. I think the younger Vanderbilt fans are learning about, your relationship with him. I got to ask, did you get to talk to him after the game and get to enjoy that? And obviously, everybody enjoys it, a win like that. But did you get to enjoy it with Bobby at all?
I did, yeah. I mean, we got on the phone with Catherine almost immediately after I was out of the locker room, and we were able to share some memories, share some laughs, and very special. So, that was something I told the team I wanted to do for Coach on Tuesday. I put a picture up and talked a little bit about what he meant to me and why this game in particular carried significance. It just meant a lot to be able to shine some light on a guy that is so meaningful to our program and to our community, but I also feel like has never really gotten his due with respect to the investment, the sacrifice he made, the work he put into getting this program to a point of really, I felt like, sustained success. When you look at, the 2008 bowl game, which was huge, and then also the ensuing recruiting class that I felt like formed the bedrock of the success the program had there on the 3-run stretch in 11, 12, and 13, I believe. So Coach is a big part of my life and a big part of my foundation. But he's also a big part of Vanderbilt football and deserves to be honored.
Coach, your defense is outscoring opponents 65-7 in the last 6 quarters of football. And the offense may get the shine nationally, and obviously that they've done their part as well. But what have you liked most about this defensive unit through 3 games?
Well, they've proven to be disruptive, and we'll be challenged. Listen, it's, we have a small sample size right now. So we've had some mistakes that have shown up and that haven't been capitalized on. There have been some things where we've gotten a little leaky at times, and we'll need to improve as we go. But them being disruptive on the ball erases a lot of mistakes. So Saturday is a great example of this, where you generate 4 turnovers, and I believe all of those happen on the plus side of the field, and a number of those in the red zone. That's a formula to limit points, and when you end up coming out of an SC game giving up 7 points, you feel really good about the performance. I credit our coaching staff and our players for both the structure of our play and also the style of our play. Looking for more of that, more disruption. I want to see us get off the field earlier and continue strengthened performance on 3rd down. That'll be also very important to our success. And, to say offensively, the way we play also helps our defense. When we can win time of possession, when we can kind of churn out methodical drives, and then when you build a lead, you make an offense one-dimensional. Those are all things, all of these things kind of factor into performance as a team. So you can't look at any one phase independent of another.
Coach, I want one more thing on that South Carolina game with Langston Patterson and his ejection. Obviously, unfortunate, but I'm so interested with you as a defensive guy. Have you had to change how you coach as a player is getting close to the quarterback? Like, looking at the replay, it is what it is, right? It's unfortunate, but how do you coach that? And what are you telling Langston maybe this week in practice or right after that in the moment? Obviously, it's heated, but how do you coach that?
Well, I mean, any contact to the head or neck area of the quarterback's going to draw a penalty. We were actually flagged on this a year ago at Georgia State. Linus Zonk was flagged on it, and it wasn't targeting, but it was roughing the passer. And for Langston, I think if he avoids that face mask to face mask contact, I don't think. I mean, it's still potentially could get flagged for roughing, though I felt like it was a pretty clean. The timing of the hit was clean. It's just needing to get your face mask or your head off the midline of the body there, especially when you're approaching the launch point high. So there are things we can do. What I don't do is split hairs about it. We don't sit there and try to paralyze them by how we approach the quarterback. You can't hit the quarterback after the ball's been thrown. So we want to have discipline in that respect. You can't land with your body mass on his body mass. So that's something we've talked about and kind of demonstrated to them. But you still got to play the game. And I think our players have awareness of how to play the game in a safe way, but also in a smart way. And as long as I feel like there's an awareness there and there's an understanding, I'm not going to do much more to slow them down.
Last year, Coach, the loss to Georgia State, obviously we know how difficult that was for the group. But a lot of what you talked about that week to us in the media was, that there were some outside, extracurricular things that maybe weren't getting done within the program. How much do you circle back to that this week, that loss, what led to that loss, and to avoid any of that, for this year?
Well, we've put a lot of time, again, I think it's one of the things that I think is missed here is this idea that, the season is where we address these things. So what we do, inevitably is we learn through the course of a season. We call it execution cycle. And every week you're trying to take the learning forward and build performance as the year goes on. You hope to finish the year a better team than you started. And I think that's a signature of a good program. But then you get that reset point in January where you can kind of reflect back on all of it and say, okay, where does the foundation for the next team need to be? What is the foundational learning that we can pull forward to again in January start the process of building out a more capable program, a more capable team? And so, I mean, we spent time on our 4.25 margins in games we lost, 4 games that we lost, one of which was Georgia State. What led to those, narrow losses, how we can, better prepare, and what were the elements of our process that were missing. And so there was kind of football learning around that. And then, inevitably, I mean, I've got, 115 or so 18 to 22-year-olds over the course of 8 months. You're going to have times where, you have to have kind of reset conversations because there are certain behaviors that are showing up that are undercutting the mission. So in those conversations, whether it be in the winter, the spring, or the summer, inevitably we talked about what we learned last year in the Georgia State week, where we had a lack of discipline off the field, a lack of discipline in our process. I felt like a feeling of entitlement to winning, and it led to us underrepresenting ourselves in performance. To be clear, whether or not it led to us losing that game, I think there's a better game for us to play a year ago. We played a resilient game. We didn't play a smart or a clean game. I also never want to take away the credit from the opponent who played a really good game, and this is a dangerous team. So the learning is kind of spread throughout the entirety of formation cycle, preparation cycle, into execution cycle. Did we talk about a year ago this week? Yeah, sure. But not to an extent where this is a different team. You know, I'm looking for signs and symptoms. I'm looking for patterns of behavior. And what I've seen to this point this week is this is a focused team, and we're preparing to play our best game on Saturday. And so rather than me sit here and wax and wane about, you know, what the team did a year ago, I'm really celebrating the idea that we're in process, and it's still going to take us playing a good game. You know, like, again, doesn't matter who you're playing, but certainly against the dangerous Georgia State team who's got tools and weapons, we're going to need to play a good game to get the result we want. That's where our focus is.
You mentioned you're looking, and last thing here, Coach, for those patterns and behavior, right, to be on track with what it takes to, you know, to win. You also mentioned, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe after the Virginia Tech game, you brought up that, you know, you have a lot of respect for your team. You know, there's certain things that that this team does, not just on the field but off the field, that are, you know, that are of a great manner. What are those things? And you mentioned the patterns of behavior. You know, how do you feel about the patterns of behavior so far with this group through 3 weeks, and not necessarily on the field, but things off the field, like you talked about, maybe were a weak point at times last year?
Well, you know, the respect I have for the team is about the level of investment they've made at every turn. You know, so again, not the level of investment they made for the game against South Carolina, or the level of investment or sacrifice they are making this week. It's watching this team over the course of 8 months give up themselves to what they want. I mean, that's ultimately what they've done. And in moments where I've felt like the attention to detail is lacking, the effort's lacking, the intensity's lacking, whatever. And I'm talking about from January all the way through to today. In those moments where I've addressed the group and challenged them for a redirection, I mean, they've responded immediately. So there's this synergy that's built between a coach and the team, our players amongst themselves, the chemistry they have, an alignment within the program that gets me excited about where we can go. Now, all of that to say, I mean, are we perfect? No. Is this still an exercise of mentor and guiding and growing people in a process, in a program? Yeah. I mean, there's not going to be, you know, success is never linear. So you're going to have inevitably moments where you have to challenge. Maybe it's an individual, a position group, or sometimes it's the team where you feel like there's distraction. And when you think about the inputs, you know, the hardest thing to do is try to build kind of a clean room here where, you know, we're not dealing with external noise. That could be, you know, what people want to say about our ranking, what people want to say about whatever. I mean, you know, being 3-0, or what we could potentially be in the season now. People are starting to have opinions about that. It could also be the echo chamber of a player, family, a trainer who thinks they should be getting more snaps, or, you know, maybe they haven't had the production yet that they wanted. You know, there can be frustration built up around, you know, a lack of plays being made. So you're trying the best you can to insulate the team, to create kind of peace and calm around, you know, the fact that it's not going to be perfect. Inevitably, these things will come up as we go. We have to address them and handle them as they are. And what makes for a healthy environment is not the absence of these things. I think I remember, this is probably biblical, but Don Meyer used to say, peace is not the absence of trials, but calm in their midst. I think we're a team. We've got like 160 people as a part of this program, or something in that neighborhood. You know, there's never going to be a day where there's not something going on that needs attention. You know, letting go of this idea that there's a perfect world where everyone's happy, you know, I mean, it's just not existent. So what we do the best we can is communicate through these hiccups, help each other through these trials, build connection in adversity. And actually in doing that, the team strengthens through that practice. It's similar to my marriage, Billy, and you didn't want to get into this isn't marriage counseling, but my wife and I love each other very much. That love began when we met and as we built a relationship, and certainly our wedding day was a great celebration of that. But truthfully, what has really strengthened our marriage is the adversity we've had along the way. It's learning how to build a partnership with someone. It's challenging each other in ways that hold you accountable. It's introducing children and the need to parent and the stresses that creates. All of that ends up, creating kind of a stronger bond and a stronger marriage. As it turns out, it's very similar to building a team. So
there it is, the Clarkley wisdom we all come here for every week, right here on the George Plaster Show. Clark, looking forward to it. I feel weird calling you Clark. I always say Coach. Looking forward to it. Saturday, Georgia State in town, 6:30 kickoff on ESPNU. Thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Always good to be with you.
Okay, well, that interview took a turn that I never saw coming. Marriage counseling. Kelly, you when I read out their schedule from here on in, after once it gets past Georgia State and Utah State, and I think, look, whether this is right or wrong, I think all of us sort of believe they're going to end up 5-0. However, past history at Vandy says don't do that. Don't assume that. But for assumption in a sports talk setting, what do you honestly think happens if they're 5-0 and you know what goes on from that point on with that schedule?
He talked about success not being linear, and he's right, because there's going to be some ups and downs in those last 6 games or 7 games. I think, because Georgia State's not near as good as they have been. They played Murray State last week, and it was a game, which is quite shocking because Georgia State was really good last year. And then Utah, I don't think they'll have any trouble with those 2 games. But then you get that slot of the SEC coming at you, and I'm just not. I mean, I think they're a really good football team, George. I really do. I think they're a good club. I think they've got a lot of confidence going forward. I think they got a lot of confidence in their coaching staff. I think the players have bought into what Clark Lee said. I enjoy listening to Clark because he sounds like a philosopher. I mean, I could sit here and listen to him all day because he says some great things. He really does. And those kids have bought into it. And I think they've got so much confidence on that team. I think that they're going to win more in that 6 games than they're going to lose. I really do. Unless something happens to the main guy, which is Diego Pavia. If something happens to him, I mean, I don't know if all bets are off, but they're going to experience some things. They're going to have a couple of losses in there, but I think they're probably going to win more than they lose. And I think they got a good shot of doing something. I don't know if they can make the playoff. I mean, that's Billy's thing. But, hey, if they keep winning, they might. I mean, they've got a big test going down to Tuscaloosa after they finish these next couple of games. And Alabama is not going to overlook them like they did last year in Nashville. They are going to be ready, and that stadium is going to be raucous. They're going to be ready for the Vanderbilt Commodores, and we're going to see what kind of team they truly are in that game.
So, okay, let me ask it this way. Let's say we end up being right and they're 5-0. Does he kind of have to sit down with his team and say, listen, we're about to head into territory we've never even come close to sniffing. And here's the way I expect you to handle it. Because, look, do I think they're going to make the college football playoff? No, I don't. But they are, if they get to 5-0, in a position to at least have their name brought up with other teams who are sitting there with similar hopes and dreams. And until Diego Pavia got there, I don't think it was a very good locker room. I think it was a locker room that was used to losing. I think losing became okay. I think that's been a Vandy problem in football for 40 years. Losing doesn't hurt. And all of a sudden, this guy got here, and I think he walked in one day and said, screw this. I didn't come here to be a loser. And I think his message has changed the entire, whatever Vanderbilt football is. But does Clark Lee at 5-0, if they're fortunate enough to get there, does he have to have a talk about things we've never dealt with before?
Man, I don't know if he's going to do that. I think it's just he's kind of more like a coach that is the next game up. And I don't think you can start thinking about that stuff. But, George, if you look at that schedule, man, golly, you got to go to Alabama. Then you got LSU at home. Then they play really good against Missouri. I mean, there's there or at Vanderbilt, it doesn't matter. They play really good against Missouri. I can see them winning that game. I don't know about the Alabama LSU. And then they got to go to Texas. Golly, it's just so tough. And then Auburn, they've had their way with Auburn. Kentucky, I don't think presents them much of a problem. Then you got to go to U2, who blew them out last year, and everybody was so enthused about that game. So they've got a bunch of hard games coming up, George. I don't know if Clark Lee will go in saying that. I just think it's the next team up, just kind of like when somebody else goes down on your team, it's the next guy up. I don't think I don't think you really start having those guys think about that. I just think you just take one game at a time. And then once you get through that game, you think about the next week. And then, when you start getting down to the end of the season, maybe you start thinking about that. But I don't think he does that at this point.
Kelly, you don't think those kids aren't in a dorm room talking about it? Come on.
Well, there's no question. There's no question they talk about it. Yeah, there's no question. But I don't think as a coach you can start bringing that up right now because I think that adds – I mean, we all know there's added pressure, George. We get that. We know that they are doing things that Vanderbilt's never done. But I don't think you look at it that way. I really don't. I just think – and there's a lot of things going on in dorm rooms, which they're not in dorms anymore. They're in apartments or in their condos, which is kind of crazy to me. But – we never really talked about that stuff, George. Now, I know it's a different time and era right now, and I know these guys have done something at Vanderbilt, especially if they go 5-0. But I just, they're going to talk about it. But like we're talking about the next game up. We got Alabama. Like after the Utah State game, I think don't they have a bye, and then they go to Alabama. So that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about Alabama.
Okay. We'll do this. We're going to open up the phone lines for whatever you want to get into, as long as it's sports. So dial us up at 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. Jump in on the lines. We're looking for red-blooded Americans that want to talk some sports. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that. both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Okay, we're headed to the phones here in just a second. I think I'm right that we've got a couple of lines that are still open. So if you've got stuff on your mind, jump in there. 615-759-9949. Take it wherever you want, as long as it's sports. Frank in Smyrna is line one. Frank, welcome.
Thank you, guys. I've never batted leadoff a day in my life, so this is a neat experience. Billy, I'm gonna start with you. Congratulations on the new job. I wish you well.
Appreciate it.
This show's gonna be a whole lot different. Without you on it, who's Kelly gonna pick on now?
It doesn't matter, Frank. I'll pick on somebody. If it's George, I'll pick on him.
Well, now let me say this.
You will, Kelly, but
let me say this. The poor kid that's coming in probably has no clue.
Oh, he has no idea.
None whatsoever.
He is not ready for this.
And I do sort of look forward to the first time that Kelly is Kelly, just to see what the look is on the other side of the glass.
That's right.
Well, as long as he doesn't get up and do a Usain Bolt impersonation running for his party, get out of there.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But Kelly, I have something for you before I get to what I really called about. You know, we've been talking all week about the Titans' penalties the first two games, which has been just absolutely ridiculous. My question is, back in the day, you know, guys used to have to run, if I'm not mistaken, for if they committed a bunch of penalties in a game. Does that not go on in the NFL anymore, or does the collective bargaining agreement prohibit that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Frank, because I'm not sure. I mean, they used to fine guys, but it was kind of under the table, so. Yeah. I don't know. And you find guys at position meetings like that. You go into the offensive line room, and offensive line guys are weird anyway, and the offensive line coach is usually weird too. And they have all these things up on the board where everybody gets fined with, and they would fine them for things they do in a game or things they do in the meeting. So, yeah, but I don't know about that, Frank. I really don't. But they've got to. I tell you what, man, that's losing them ball games right now, especially with them not being good. And they've got to curtail those problems, because if they don't, they're just going to keep losing.
I agree. I sat in the stands Sunday, and I I like to have had a headache by the end of the first quarter, shaking my head at all the penalties. And my daughter looked at me and said, "Daddy, we're not very good." And about all I can say is, what else is new? I mean, just, oh, mercy. And anyway, what I really call to talk about is Vanderbilt football. Now, I've been doing this for 43 plus years. I grew up a Vandy fan in Tullahoma when it wasn't cool to be a Vandy fan, and in the 80s. And it just, we all know the history here, but I got to look at the schedule. And I know I called in a few weeks ago and said, in order for them to have a successful year, they have to be 3-0. Well, they are. And while I don't like looking ahead, I believe they'll beat Georgia State, Utah State. And looking further ahead, I think they're going to be 6-3 after 9 games. I just, I think Missouri, they're going to find a way to beat Missouri here. They should have last year. Alabama and LSU, Texas, those are, well, you never know. Those are probably losses. I think those teams are just better than Vanderbilt is. But then that brings up the last 3, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. And again, I hate looking ahead because we don't know in a couple months what those teams are going to look like or what Vandy's going to look like. But this lifelong Vandy fan, would love to see an 8 or 9 win season. And I think if they're 6-3 after 9 games, they got a shot because I think Auburn's better. I don't think they're that much better. Maybe I'm wrong. Kentucky, I think that's a win. And then there's the state rival game at the end of November, which right now, I think if that game was played right now, it'd be a trap meet. But that's just this one Vandy fan's thoughts. And George, I'm with you. If not now, when for our Vandy fans going to show up? I've heard for years, oh, well, they suck. Why go out there? I said it myself for years. Oh, put a winning product out there. Vanderbilt fans, get your butts out there Saturday night. You have no excuse. I don't blame the weather. Come on now. We need to support them. Period.
If not now, when? Frank, I got to run.
Win. Thank you, George, and Kelly, and Billy. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Frank.
Let's go to Tony in Nolensville. Tony, what's shaking today?
Gentlemen, before I get started real quick, Billy, before you depart, are you going to leave any bookets or gifts to the people or making America money? Are you going to do any of those on your way out the door?
I'll do that. I'll do some of that Friday.
Yeah, I'm sure you
if it's
will.
allowed.
Probably won't be, because in the end, if you suck, there's no consequences to it.
Well,
when I suck, they call me. Well, not only that, Kelly says it, for God's sakes. You suck. But you will make these plays and then march out of town.
I'll call in and I will answer to the win or the loss.
Yeah, well, sure you will.
And what commissioner was going to be handling the underdog picks and the updates and who goes first? Who's going to be handling those duties?
These are administrative decisions that have not yet been completely figured out. Oh, that's hilarious.
Because there is a lot of talk on the street. There's a lot of talk of who's got what in those duties. So it's looking. I think there are a lot of people looking forward to it. Guys, Kelly, I'm with you. Going to the Vanderbilt game, the targeting on the sellers, I watched it 100 times. I just refuse to accept the fact that was targeting. I know it was called. I know it was called in from the booth. The flag was never thrown, but I still refuse. He went in high, face mask. He tried to truly avoid a major impact hit. And this leads me to this question, Kelly, and the panel. So if they're going to call targeting every time you go up high, well, don't this almost make a tackler now wanting to go low and go at the legs, which is very possibly ending a career?
Yeah, that's even worse if you. That's even worse if you do that, Tony. That's my whole gripe with all this. Like, it wasn't targeting is with the crown of the helmet. Now that could have been a 15-yard penalty because that's what Clark Lee talked about. If you hit a quarterback in the helmet, you're going to get flagged, whether you hit him with a hand, whether you hit him with a helmet. But that's not targeting. I don't think the kid should have got suspended for a half or what. I don't think all that. I think it should have been a 15-yard penalty because he did hit him in the helmet. But there's too much inconsistency going on with these calls, and guys are making like what's the rule?
Well,
The rule is targeting. The rule is targeting. If it's targeting, you got to lead with the crown of the helmet. He didn't. He went face mask to face mask, so that automatically eliminates targeting.
But why is there not a flagrant system of a flagrant 1, a flagrant 2? If it's targeting,
I agree 100% with that.
It's broken. If it's targeting, you're
That's
ejected.
The smartest thing you've said in 3 years. You saved the best for last.
I did, yeah. I mean,
that's
okay. If it's targeting, you're ejected.
I'm putting you on the committee with Coach Cutcliffe.
Don't go there, George. No. He said one good point in 3 years.
But yeah, it's a gray area. It's a huge, broad area. And it seems like you would think they'd be getting closer to getting this pinpointed to an accuracy, but it seems like it's getting further from that. And I don't know what the answer is. I think Billy had the answer, but it's just ridiculous there, just that type of call. Now, talking about Vanderbilt's schedule, I tell you what you better get ready for, guys. Vanderbilt's 5-0 going into Alabama, and I will say they're going to be 5-0. I know you're always not supposed to do that. We've been talking about that. Don't put the cart before the horse. They're going to be 5-0, and they're going to go to Alabama, and they're going to be either 3-2 or 4-1. Keep in mind, they got Georgia next week.
Yeah, that could be the beginning of the end for Kalen DeBoer.
That is true. So Vandy goes into Alabama and plays them close, gets beat. You're going to have College game day down there either that day at Alabama or you're going to have game day up here at Vanderbilt when they get ready to play LSU.
Tony is visionary.
Either way. And at the same time, if they was to beat Alabama and they're 6-0, George, what do you think West End is going to be like when LSU comes to town here?
Probably a lot of purple.
That place is going to be rocking. And you got the LSU fan base wanting to drink up every damn bottle of liquor in town. You're going to have that. They're going to bring every spot up from down to Louisiana. They're going to bring them up here, and they're going to drink us dry. And then on top of that, they're going to cook they'll try to find every piece of hot chicken in Nashville they need. So you're going to have that going on, and it's going to be, don't let them start talking about a baseball game because they'll want to play a baseball game.
Oh, so, you are on a roll.
Well, it's unbelievable. We all know those crazy Cajuns when they come up here, what it's going to be like. If you saw the game this past Saturday, they were cooking real. They were dead, but they were cooking alligator. They were putting them on the grill and cooking them and then putting them in their gumbo and jambalaya. Unbelievable.
Tony, I got to run.
Guys, I'm going to leave you alone, but that's what everybody better get ready for. It's going to be a fun ride these next 3 or 4 weeks. Talk to you.
It's not going to be dull, that's for sure. So is the LSU game here not an early start time?
They have, I think it's one of those where it's either 3:30 or a night game, I want to say.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around, that it was in the early.
Like 11 a.m.?
Yeah, because if it is,
they're flexing.
Those people are not prepared to be up that early. After a Friday night, I was right.
Wow.
Okay, after a Friday night, who knows? They can do whatever they want to do. But after a Friday night downtown, you think those people are up ready at 8:30 going, yeah, come on.
I do think the last time LSU played here, it was an 11 a.m. kick, though.
It was Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we got to go to the break. I want to ask Ben, who is nice enough to hold to hang with me, you'll be first up. And then I'm looking for a Clarksville call. I need to know if anybody in Clarksville is out there.
Come on, Clarksville.
Clarksville. And tell the person that answers the phone you're from Clarksville. 615-759-9949. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Absolutely hilarious comment out of the comment section. Billy, read it.
Somebody on YouTube just said they treat Billy like a stepchild. No wonder he's hitting the door. Mr. Great Billy, they cannot replace you. Just hiring someone.
And the thing about it, Billy, is when you're gone, you're gone. See ya.
Wow. That's certainly a heartwarming goodbye.
That's what they used to tell me. Hey, we need to see your playbook. They didn't care about all them feelings and emotions. They just said, "Hey, you're no longer needed. We're going another direction."
Wow, this is really cool.
This is very heartwarming.
Yeah, really. Ben, on line 3, welcome into the show.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm in good old Lexington, Kentucky on today.
Okay. Well, CATS, cats.
No.
He's not a Kentucky fan though. He's a Vol fan.
Okay.
He went to UT.
Okay. Well, go
Yeah.
ahead. Either way.
Yeah, I got two things. I heard Mr. Kelly Holcomb got some fan mail over the weekend, and I just think he should bless that fan that sent him some fan mail. What do you think about
do?
that?
I don't think much about
Yeah,
it, Benny. You little communist. That's what I don't think. You're trying to get a game worn jersey from. You're killing me, Benny. Is what you're doing.
Hey, I
Hold on a second. Ben, let's investigate this. Are you looking for a game-worn Kelly Holcomb jersey?
That'd be correct.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
I'll pay for it.
Okay. Here's what inquiring minds want to know. Why?
You not see the stud he is? I need some memorabilia for Kelly Holcomb. I'm a huge fan of him.
So, Kelly,
ask your next question. How about it?
Get the guy the jersey. I mean, it's not like you're being pummeled with requests.
From him, I am.
My next question is, what is y'all's take on the tush push? There's been a lot of conversation on it this weekend they think the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is false starting and lining up in the neutral zone. What is y'all's take? Do the refs need to start calling penalties on them or what?
I don't think I'm almost to the point where I'm not sure it's humanly possible when they all get squunched in like that. You know, when you get a camera that's able to look in there.
Well, they were.
People are off sides. People are jumping early. The officials when they get all they have no idea what's going on.
There was a video I saw on Twitter of the two guards were actually off. They had a false start. The referees didn't catch it, so they're doing. I think they've been doing that. Those guards there, Kelly.
Let's get rid of this thing.
It's definitely a weapon for the Philadelphia Eagles because it's unstoppable. How many times have they been stopped? I mean, I'm sure they've been stopped once, but have they even their percentage of getting third downs on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 has got to be ridiculous. It's a weapon. Yeah, it's a weapon for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Buffalo Bills try it and they can't do it. So, I mean, when you got Jalen Hurts who squats the universe, he can squat 700 pounds. I mean, good gracious. And then he's got Saquon Barkley who's got tree trunk legs back there pushing him. It's definitely a weapon. I used to like it, but now it's starting to get on my nerves. I will say that I think that at some point next year, they'll probably they won't the competition committee will say, hey, we're not doing it anymore.
Overall, since 2022, the Eagles have attempted the tush push 116 times.
I'm going to guess 113 or 114 have been successful.
96%. They're converting 96% of the time. So they've only been stopped 4 times. It looks like
112 out.
Yeah, 112. Crazy.
Let us know when you get that jersey.
I will. And Billy, don't feel bad. He treated me like that too. So.
Okay, good.
Hey, Ben, go play in the street in Lexington, Hoss.
See.
It's a tough life being around him. Thank you for the call. So, okay. Am I right? No calls from Clarksville?
Nothing from Clarksville.
I think what we may have to do, we may have to create an incentive.
For what?
For somebody from Clarksville.
Oh.
By the end of the week, we got to get one.
I think you need to go. I think the incentive needs to be somebody needs to give you a wedgie, George.
No, that's the
incentive.
Really?
Or give you a swirly in the commode. That's what I think. That's the incentive.
Boy, this is certainly a highly educational show today, isn't it? What were you thinking, Billy?
I mean, Austin P football tickets or something like that. The Govs are rolling right now.
Might work on that.
Who do they have this week?
Look it up. I don't know. I should know.
Who's middle got, Kelly?
They got Marshall. Marshall at home. And I don't think Marshall's very good. Marshall's kind of down this year, so
they look
it'll
like
be a good game. Yeah.
Austin P has Abilene Christian. Yeah, somebody said that earlier.
Oh, that's right. I think they got to go to Abilene Christian too, don't they?
Yeah, they're at
Yep.
Abilene Christian. So their big games though are Eastern Kentucky, North Alabama. I don't know how good Southern Utah is. It's probably not very good. Central Arkansas, Samford's probably a big game. So all those games in conference. Late
George, I can't remember. Did they go to the Southern Conference? Is that where they went?
The United Football Conference.
Oh, United Football Conference.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Tarleton, who beat Army, and was that
Tarleton
week 1?
State's pretty good. Tarleton State's pretty good in Stevensville, Texas. They're really good.
Yeah, I think Central Arkansas's in it, North Alabama, Eastern Kentucky, maybe West Georgia too. So,
okay, we got to go to the break, Kelly, because it's vitally important. People in Clarksville want to know. People in Nashville want to know. What is the plaster bet of the day? We'll tell you in a moment on the George Plaster Show.
Hi, this is Mike from Newton Ford South. September is almost at its end. September 22nd is its official last day. But let's make sure that we end summer on a super fun note. School starting doesn't mean all the summer fun has to end. And how about a major giveaway from us to really put some icing on the cake for you? That's right, soak up these last days of summer with the ultimate Lake Day package. Here's how to enter. Visit NewtonFordSouth.com to find the canoe symbol on a random page of our website. Take a screenshot and send it to us in a message on our Facebook or Instagram. The last day to enter is September 30th.
When you're all in for game day, Electronic Express has you covered with the largest selection of in-stock TVs and home theater systems that put you right in the action. And feed your game day crowd with a grill built for tailgating at home, fridges that keep the drinks cold, and dishwashers that make cleanup easy. Shopping local has its perks too, like free delivery and up to 24 months interest-free financing. Whatever you need to make game day a winner at the guaranteed lowest prices, we've got that. Visit us in-store or at electronicexpress.com.
Spice up your week with Nashville's best deal at Macero in 12 South. From sizzling Tex-Mex favorites to refreshing margaritas, Macero is the perfect spot for dinner with friends or date night. And right now you can grab half off a $50 gift card, just $25 while supplies last. That's a fiesta for your taste buds at half the price. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Get your gift card to Macero in 12 South now at 949thefan.com/deals. Macero, it just hits different.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
Brought to you by Window Nation. Get 2 free windows when you buy 2 at windownation.com.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus on our way to the low 90s once again. This time around, not expecting pop-up showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Just a partly cloudy day.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
Final segment on a Wednesday. Time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We take a look at what transpired last night, and it's got it in red font here, but that was a win with the Astros, but the Tigers lost. So
yeah. So we're going to stay at 36 and 39. We're doing nothing but treading water right now, and that's not acceptable. So we're going to get you 2 wins tonight, and we're going to go to a race that really matters, the American League West, where Seattle has a half-game lead going into today against the Astros. So we're going to take the Astros as an underdog at home against Texas. The reason they're an underdog is Jacob deGrom pitching, and we're going to go Seattle, who's on a long winning streak, in Kansas City against the Royals. Seattle and Houston tonight. Tomorrow, Danny Evans will join us. We'll be at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall getting ready for Buffalo and Miami. And we will review underdog picks, Kelly, where 3 of the 5 contestants ended up with a win.
Kelly finally got him a win.
Oh, stop it, Billy. Shut your mouth.
We're done. All the hostilities today are done. Tomorrow, Kelly gives Billy a big farewell.
Yeah. Look forward to that, Billy.
See all of you tomorrow.